Let's go.
Warm-up question is
Groovy.
very simple. Who are you? How are you today? Why do you deserve to be here on this stream? We'll start with
Oh
Sean.
boy. All
Oh
right.
boy. I mean, I don't even know why I got to answer this question at this point. Everybody knows I'm Sean O'Brien. I'm the owner of Rochester CCG. I've been selling UniVersus for almost 13 years on my site, rochesterccg.com. I've been doing organized play stuff with UVS games and their predecessors for over 10 years. And, I think I should be on the stream because people have lots of questions for me that I'm hoping to get answered tonight. So everybody who needs to know should be tuned into the stream right now because I'm not going to answer them again. So if they miss
100%.
out tonight.
That's it.
And what was the last question? How am I doing today?
How you doing? How you doing? It's actually one of the questions we got from the viewers, so I did have to make sure I brought it up. Is
I saw that.
how are you guys today?
I mean, I am wonderful. The Buffalo Bills are doing well, as we talked about earlier. I'm really excited for Nationals and the World's Festival, of course, too. And can't wait to hear what Josh has got cooking for 2025. This is informative for me, too.
Same, 100%.
You know a lot of it.
Josh,
Nice thing about being NDA'd in one of my TOs.
Josh, hit me with it, buddy.
All right. I'm Josh Massey, Senior Manager of Organized Play over at UVS Games. Today I am miserable, but that's okay. I'll be able to go to sleep when we're done recording here. And that I guess I say recording. We're not recording. This is live. Let's go, baby.
Live TV.
And then, why I deserve to be here. I mean, I think it's just my job that allows me to be here. People want to know answers to questions. We've got a timeline for all of this, but Tam said, you know what? Forget that timeline. I want to talk about it now, and I can give people a hint of things now before the full announcements later.
And I think even just wetting our taste buds is going to be enough to hold us over until we get the full big announcement. Hello, my name's Tam. We're streaming this live over on twitch.tv/TamCardwell. This will be all uploaded on my YouTube. If I'm just hosting the thing, I know none of this information prior. Your questions are my questions. I have questions on here. You all have questions. If you are catching this live on Twitch right now, you can spend channel points and ask Sean and Josh some questions that we can maybe hit at the end if we have enough time. Or if you have any questions, if you're watching this on YouTube later, leave them in the comments down below, and I will try to get them to the appropriate people to get them answered for you. No promises, but I will at least send the information over. So, with that said, here is, for everybody at home, here is my plan for the stream. I want to talk Nationals as a whole. Nationals, at least the U.S. Nationals is coming up. That's why we have Sean on, to give us some finalized details with things that are happening in U.S. Nationals. I'm a U.S. resident. That's the one that I really care about. And then we have Josh to help answer some of the non-U.S. national questions. From there, I want to move to the main event for Worlds, because there are some small questions that people, the lucky 32 that get to, sorry, not lucky, hard-working 32 individuals who made it into the main event. They have some questions, followed by Worlds Fest plans. We're going to go back to Sean, as you are hosting, you are TOing the Worlds Festival for UniVersus. And then lastly, I want to talk organized play for 2025. And so that is in order what we're going to do with, is it 64? Thank you, Tantic, 64, not 32. With that said, it was 32 last year. With that said, this is a flowing conversation. Please don't feel like you have to stick to our crazy timeline. Or a crazy docket. If we want to move and jump around, we can, but this is to help us keep flowed. Thoughts, opinions?
I think this sounds great. Let's go.
Let's get to it.
Okay, so without further ado, let's talk Nationals. Sean, the main thing that I want you to do here is, it's now your time, be on the stage. Give us as much details as you know as the guy hosting the event, specifically main event. Then let's talk all side event stuff, and then I can ask some small questions. And Josh, if you have any information that you want to jump in and interrupt with or help out with, please feel free to. But take it away, buddy.
Sounds good.
All right, let's talk Nationals. So Nationals is coming up in about 6 weeks. It's going to be in Grapevine, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas. It's actually directly north of Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. We are going to be at the Silver Lake Conference Center, which has 2 attached hotels. It's a Hyatt and a Marriott. And you don't even have to go outside. If you stay at the on-site hotels, you just walk down the corridor and you are at the venue. Because you don't know what's happening in Texas that time of year. It can be 70 and sunny, or it could be a blizzard. Literally happened last year. So, yeah, that's coming up in January. That is the 24th through 26th in Grapevine, Texas. We are doing stuff a little differently as far as the scheduling goes. We are splitting Swiss. So that's a little different from before. Feedback I've consistently gotten from players is that 8 rounds is a long day. And as a TO, I can confirm 8 rounds is a long day. So we're going to split Swiss up. We're going to do half the rounds on Friday, half the rounds on Saturday, with the elimination rounds coming on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And so players may be asking themselves, well, what do I do on the other half of the day, Friday and Saturday? And that answer is easy. It's side event time. And we have a ton of fun side events lined up. In fact, I'm just pulling up the schedule right now. So after the main event rounds on Friday, we're going to have an Attack on Titan Spotlight event, followed by an MHA Spotlight event. So when you sign up, you're going to get some prize wall tickets. And then if you go 3-0, you're going to get some more prize wall tickets. So what's nice about that is if you lose your first round, you can actually just move into the next tournament. You don't have to play out or be on the bubble or any nonsense like that. You just move on to the next event.
So you get your prize tickets whenever you sign up and you play at least one round?
So you get prize wall tickets for signing up and registering your deck.
Okay.
And then you get additional prize wall tickets if you go 3-0.
Perfect.
Then on Saturday, yeah, the idea being is we want you playing as much UniVersus as possible. We're there to celebrate the game. I don't want you being, first of all, completely exhausted at the end of the day, not wanting to do anything else. Plus, if you play in the event and you don't do well, you can go to dinner, you can play in the next event. Saturday, we're going to do day 2 of Swiss for the main event. And then in the morning, if you already have decided, your deck didn't work out for you, there's going to be more side events going on. We're going to be running a UU Hakusho Spotlight event. That is going to be a glorious mess. It's a completely untested format, so we'll see what happens. Followed by Spotlight. And then at 3 in the afternoon, my favorite format of all, Rochester Retro. Those rules are up on the UGN right now if you want to look at them. If people have questions, I'm happy to answer them. But it's retro cards following the standard rule set. That's really the difference. And then on Sunday, we have even more side events. We have our teams event, which is a perennial favorite among UniVersus players. It's going to be three game round teams, and the winner gets a really cool. The winning team gets really cool championship belts. They look really, really cool. I love wrestling belts. And we also have, backed by popular demand, our Collector's Cup, which is a special tournament where you try to build the fanciest deck you can with the coolest cards. And then the 4 players with the coolest decks play off for a chance to win a whole bunch of Rochester CCG store credit. In addition, and we just announced this yesterday, 2 prize wall tickets, of course, and everybody who signs up for the Collector's Cup will get a raffle ticket in to win a Chrome Rare. So it's on top of the prize wall tickets, it's a $10 raffle for a Chrome.
That's crazy. And all that is just like a celebration of like, hey, go UVS Games has some of, if not the best looking art and cards in the game. Let's showcase it all by having like a little mini portfolio, right? I know the last event that we were at together, it was Atlanta. Was it? No, it was St. Louis. I picked up a chrome Jester, the Altar Jester, and a bunch of Wound Restores, and I got my full play set. Like I might be playing at this time's Collector Cup just because I went to Rochester and I picked up all the bling. So the fact that I could go in and not even have the craziest, shiniest deck, but just like walk away with the chrome is very, very cool, man. Above and beyond.
Yeah, and one thing to remember is you don't have to have the best deck, the fanciest deck in the room to win, because there's still the playoff. If you come in 4th place, as far as like deck fanciness goes, all you got to do is win 2 rounds, and then that store credit is yours to make your deck even fancier for next time. One of the things I wanted to do in this format, while celebrating celebrating all the cool arts and chromes and promos that UVS Games has done over the last 3 years, I also wanted it to be I wanted there to be decks that are competitively viable and you actually have to play.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. And so you're saying top 4 is playing off. So it's like a two-prong event of you register your beauty pageant deck, right? And then you then have to go through the race of top 4 plays off to get the grand prize.
That's correct. And in the playoff, the first and second place decks get a bye. So I don't think it's top 4. My mistake. I think it's top 6. I got to double check that. I don't have my.
We'll double check it. We'll fix it for YouTube. Easy peasy.
But yeah, so if you are in first or second, you don't even have to play in that first round.
Cool. Very, very cool.
So,
very, very cool. You've been talking a lot about tickets. And obviously, UVS Games has put up a lot of very cool things, such as playmats and alternate arts of retro cards and uncut sheets, which I've got a big question for you, Josh, in a second. Sean, you've got the largest UniVersus store in the U.S., probably the world. I don't know. There could be some crazy store elsewhere that is off the radar. Are you planning on one of the questions we got from chat was are you planning on putting any cards on the prize wall as Rochester CCG / will you be accepting tickets in Rochester CCG? And if so, will it be retro stuff? Please, please, please. I want to play in Retro Webcam Wednesdays.
Okay. So the folks at UVS Games have been wonderful and said I can add things to the prize wall at my discretion. So I have some really, really cool stuff I'm bringing from the Rochester CCG vault to this event. There's going to be some what I call vintage UniVersus prizes. So that's like that's like the primeval UniVersus. This is before UVS Games, before Jasco Games. This is like old Sabretooth and Fantasy Flight game promotional stuff. So I'm not quite ready to reveal all the cool stuff I'm bringing out of the closet, but there is going to be some nifty stuff, as well as we're going to be putting retro product and cards onto the prize wall as well.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. I'm very, very happy to hear that. That's very cool.
Yeah, that is something I'm going to chime in here that we have allowed all of our TOs to do moving forward. So we are going to provide prize wall items on a base level. And then Sean will be able to add things. Our other US TO will be able to add things that they see fit, and same with our international partners. So prize walls in each region and for each event will look different, at least to an extent.
Sure.
They'll have pretty staple items on there, but then we'll get the additional fun stuff that the TOs are putting up themselves.
Yeah, part of the reason that you want to go to every event possible is because you get, each own unique flavor of the event, right? Each TO gets to put in their own spice, which is cool. I like that.
Yeah, I've got some exciting stuff cooking.
Hell, love it. We had a question about one of the side events, and I might be jumping ahead. You were planning to do a box sealed draft event. Can you tell me more about what this looks like?
So we are going to be running a BYOB, Bring Your Own Booster Box Draft event.
Love it.
So for this event, you're going to be able to bring a sealed booster box that you could purchase from one of the 3 lovely vendors we're going to have on site, or even from your local game store.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be able to sign up with, we're doing pods of 4 or 8. I want to see some 8-person pods fire so we can have some goofy selections of different booster boxes together. And you pay your entry, you get your prize wall tickets, you do your draft, the winner gets more prize wall tickets. And that's really all there is to it. I know folks have been asking about characters for some of those older sets that don't have the character cards in the packs like UVS Games does these days. And I spoke with the head judge before the stream, and we've agreed to allow players to proxy characters from within that set only. So you can use proxies. So if you're playing, let's say, for example, a Crimson Rampage draft, you can proxy characters from Crimson Rampage.
Makes sense. Makes total sense. And these are just firing all the time like as soon as you have a box, you can go. There's no set time like these other spotlight events, correct?
No, we have a number of on-demand side events that we're going to be running. The BYOB draft, 8-person pods for standard, spotlight, and retro. We're also going to be running the Briarwoods PVE experience. I'm going to be creeping around on all the content creators to see if we have any previews of the PVE events for the upcoming Critical Role set. I'm not sure those are going to be out before Nationals. And fingers crossed. Yeah, so we're going to be doing. It's going to be the old Briarwoods PVE experience that was from about a year ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still. So that was a fun experience. I know people who've played it really enjoy it. Vegas, we did a nutty 12-person retro Briarwoods event, and that was kind of something. I walked away because it looked gross, but everybody had a great time.
As long as they're having fun, I guess.
But yeah, so what's nice about the on-demand side events and the scheduled side events, if for some reason you don't have an invite to Nationals, which you should by the end of the month, because there's the sealed Challenger Series events that get you an invite to Nationals. If for some reason you don't, you can still come and have a great time playing in these side events. You can earn prize wall tickets, and you can get cool items that are exclusive to UniVersus national events across the 3 regions, even if you aren't qualified. So I think that's a really cool option available to players.
One of the things about card games, and we're going to talk card games in general, right? All 3 of us lifelong card game players. A lot of these tournament grinders, the way that they see events are entertainment that you can go and make your money back, and this Nationals I think is going to be a very easy time to do that, as long as you are down to grind said side events. And I want to talk to Josh now. The prizes that UVS Games are putting up, the playmats, the pins, the large cards, and I want to talk really about the uncut sheets. What does the supply look like for those? Is it going to be 5 of each playmat? Like what are we? One uncut sheet for everybody? What is? How
good question?
How cutthroat is the race going to be? Because I want that Critical Role uncut sheet.
Yeah, so uncut sheets are going to be very limited. There will be a couple of them per event. There will be, I say a couple per event. There will be more in the U.S. than the other regions because there are more players, more side events to play in, more opportunity to earn points. So there will be a few in the US, there will be fewer in the UK, and then even fewer in Oceania. But when it comes to everything else, the idea is we wanted everybody to be able to get something. So we printed enough for everybody. Incredible. Everybody that we expected to attend.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing with a prize wall is if we have stuff left over, we save it for 6 months, and then we throw it out on a regional prize wall later. Right, for those non-exclusive, like we're not going to do the Nationals pins again. The Nationals pins, okay. Right? Like at least the Nationals pins, right? The participation pins, those won't. But there's a world where you might even see previous regional or national, not national level, but sorry, previous regional participation cards show up on a prize wall later. Right? So the prize walls are kind of fun because we can just put out whatever we want. There will never be any top cut prizing items on it, because that's not cool. People had to work hard for those, right?
Agreed.
But yeah, the intent with the prize wall is we wanted to make sure that everybody who wanted something could get it if they put in the time and get the tickets for it.
Amazing. I am feeling good about Nationals and this and the information dump that we had. Is there anything last minute things that you guys can think of when it comes to Nationals? Oh, Josh, you got me?
Yes, there is.
Hit me.
We've only talked to Sean so far.
Oh, by all means. Josh, I'm so sorry.
We do have no. I'm not saying, I'm saying TO wise. We have 2 other national events. We're talking US centric right now, which makes sense. A lot of people watching are probably here in the States. It's middle of the night, or actually it's early morning in Australia and middle of the night in the UK. So
right.
Fewer of them are probably watching, but I do want to talk about those events because they are going to look a little bit different. Obviously, side events are going to be whatever those TOs want to run. Sean has a ton of years of experience and has run events with us for ever, I think is the correct answer. So Sean will be doing some different things than the other TOs. The other TOs will still have side events, but because they will have fewer players and they won't have as many rounds, what they have been given the opportunity to do, and both of them have said that they're going to do, is their day one is not going to be their first half of Swiss. Their day one is going to be essentially a Nationals LCQ. Because there are fewer stores running events and fewer opportunities for players to get in, what we did is we provided the world with the opportunity to play in any of the Challenger Series events and get that auto invite. But because those regions are a lot more spread out, there are still people that might not be able to make those events.
Sure.
So now if they go to Nationals, play in that LCQ day one, they're going to be able to play in Nationals.
Incredible.
Which will be the Saturday for them. They'll grind out their Swiss rounds and then do the finals on Sunday. So that was the big thing that I wanted to mention, because we want to make sure that these events are fun for everybody. Like Sean said, even if you don't have an invite, you can still go and grind out side events and have a good time and maybe get those uncut sheets and laugh at all the people winning because you've got the uncut sheet first. So yeah, we're creating opportunities for more people to engage and just get involved.
Love it. Love it. That's very, very smart. And here is the call out that I will put out to those TOs. I know that there are creators from those specific regions, the UK and Oceania. If those creators won't reach out and you want to be platformed, hit me up, message me, and I would love to sit down and spread this information the same way that we did with Sean. Probably not going to have Josh on for the second and third time, right? There's only so much that he's going to share, but I would love to get some information about those nationals out to the good people. It'd be very, very cool, very awesome.
And I guess the one final thing that I will say about nationals is I will be at the Oceania Nationals. Levi and I will both be at UK. And then Levi, myself, Guile, and two of our game designers will be in Dallas. So
wow,
you are
coming out in as full force as we can.
You are jumping ahead, and I'm gonna do it. This is a question from username TamCardwell. Are you planning on bringing back gunslinging? Well,
Never. We've
No?
changed the title. We've changed the title to card slinging.
Card
And
slinging.
if we have changed the title, I think you can probably guess as to whether we've been talking about it and they're going to do it.
There it
But
is.
no gunslinging
No more
ever
gunslinging.
again.
It's gone. It's gone. There's no more chat. Clip it. No more gunslinging. Card slinging. Awesome. Incredible. Some of my favorite memories of UniVersus as a whole. I remember going to a regional in Omaha at Legendary Wolf Games. Big shout outs to them. And we used to do this thing where the TO, big shout outs to Shane Duckworth, would be like the final boss, and he'd like bring an extra box, and like whenever you got through the whole tournament or whatever, and we played against the final boss. And I remember one time we sat down. I think it might have been Keenan ? I think, who sat down, and Shane sat down, and he pulled out Sub-Zero, who had, like, we knew Mortal Kombat was coming out, but we had seen none of the cards. So literally all like 60 people were all around the table just waiting for him to check and play cards of like, oh, I've never seen that before. It was so cool. It was so awesome. And so I'll now use the new phrase, the card slinging that you guys did at Worlds last year with all the Yu Yu Hakusho characters, where all the employees were playing Yu Yu Hakusho characters. At the end of day one at Worlds, they previewed all the secret rares. And so as soon as the secret rares got previewed, all the card slingers reached in their bags, pulled out 4 copies of the secret rares, and slammed them in their deck. Was like, all right, let's play. It was such a cool reveal that it was awesome. Such a moment, and I'm very, very happy that you guys are bringing it back. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, the players love it. They love getting a chance to kind of bend the ear of folks in the company, and because you're stuck with them. I remember one time I heard a rumor that Bill Stark was going to come do some slinging. Like, oh man, let me get Recovery Girl together. He's got 2 hours to listen to me now.
Yeah, the fun thing for me when it comes to card slinging is I'm still new enough to the company and newer to the game. I had played it before I started here, but not as much as anybody probably watching this. So I'm just going to cheat the whole time and pretend that I don't know what I'm doing. So it's going to be really good. I'm going to love it.
This is live streamed, Josh. I don't know if you know that. It's Twitch.tv
Oh, yeah.
TamCardwell. Oh, okay, just admitting to it.
I'm just going to do it. I'm going to own it.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Last thoughts about... Oh, go ahead, Sean. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, before we move on from Nationals, I just want to remind folks that the room block for the lovely attached hotels, that closes on December 25th. So if you want to get in at the special room rates, which is, I think they're more than $20 cheaper than the normal room rates, and only just have to go downstairs, don't go outside, just walk into the tournament hall, please sign up for that. I'm actually going to drop a link here in the chat. Hopefully it doesn't like regurgitate and get mad at me for that.
Please, if not, I will grab it.
Did not like that.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, get your room block taken care of. First of all, I want you to be on site. I want you to be playing UniVersus all day and all night. Also, if I don't sell the rooms, I got to pay for them. So please, please don't make me pay for these rooms, because that might result in some of those cool items coming off the prize wall from my closet.
Makes sense. Makes total sense. What an incredible Christmas present to also ask your significant other, right? It like you sneaky send them the link and are like, it's done on the 25th. Who knows what you could get me? There's no shipping involved. It's actually you literally shipping me away. You get some peace and quiet for the new year. I'm just saying, there's some benefits for you to. Come on, honey.
That's a win-win. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm ready to move on.
Let's move on.
Do it.
Let's talk. And I did this. I changed the background to Worlds. Let's talk Worlds. This is going to be Josh's main event because I do want to talk about the main event. 64 players have earned their right. Almost 64 players. We still have a couple of maybes, right? People fighting for points out there, myself included. I got 10 points this weekend at a couple local qualifiers. We're squeaking our way back up the ladder. But I want to talk main event. What does the weekend look like for my 64 competitors? What format is it? What's the day splitting look like? What's the prizing? Is there any like last year we knew we had the character card. I don't actually know what I'm playing for. Where's the venue? Give me all the nasty details. I want them all, Josh. I want them all.
Sean, you've already put up your World's Festival event, right?
I have.
We're at the same venue. It's the same spot. Yep. We haven't created the event yet because the event is limited to those 64 players, right? So I don't want to rub it in everybody else's face is kind of the reasoning behind us not promoting the prizing in that very early. So just so everybody's aware, the way that we're going to do this is we have people who have earned invitations already.
Yeah.
We will start reaching out to them very shortly. And then after Nationals, we'll reach out again when we have all of the Nationals attendees or the Nationals invites and then the points invites, right? So we will have a few waves of emails going out between now and then to make sure that people who have their invite can either accept that invitation or let us know that they're not going to be able to make it. And then we can add to that LCQ pool, but we won't get too deep into that. But what we're going to do is when we send that email, we are going to provide a link to all of the prizes. That link will be live on our website as well, but we're not going to scream it from the rooftops.
Okay.
Because it's rubbing it in everybody's face. If we went to our socials and said, hey, look at all these cool things that you can't have, that makes me feel bad.
Sure.
So it will still be live. So obviously when somebody sees it, they'll be able to share it however they see fit. We're just not going to be doing that.
Okay.
So yeah, all of the invitees though, they will get that link. They'll be able to go look at the cool prizes. I think they're pretty spectacular, but that's just me. So we'll see what everybody else thinks. But yeah, that will be coming soon. Very, very soon. And then, yeah, like I said, the venue, it's the same venue that Sean is hosting his in. Sean got an additional space for the World's Festival, but I'll let him dive deeper into that event. And then it will just be the 2 days, the Saturday, Sunday. It will run standard, and we will have our rounds of Swiss on Saturday with our championship rounds on Sunday.
Makes sense.
Pretty straightforward.
Obviously, I could have asked for Nationals as well. We're obviously live streaming all of our coverage.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Love it.
Yep.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yep. Live streaming all 3 of the nationals and worlds, in addition to the LCQ at the Worlds Festival, because that's happening Friday, which is the day before Worlds.
Incredible.
So we will
Nice.
we will be working with Sean, and we'll be live streaming that event as well.
Okay. I dig it. Can we say what the venue is? As a message from Twitch chat. That was just covered, but we'll say it again.
Yeah, it's the Sheraton Orlando Buena Vista, if I have the name exactly right.
Yep, the Sheraton Orlando Lake Buena Vista Resort.
Buena Vista. I was missing something.
Makes sense.
For those of you who went to Worlds last year,
yep,
it's the same
spot.
Yo, they had this little bar out by the pool that was very reasonably priced. Good food. It was quick. It was a weird operation because they you ordered at the bar, and then they didn't make anything, obviously, but you order real food, like quesadillas and chicken, and they had to walk out of a kitchen randomly, here you go, and then leave. it was crazy. it was awesome. It was very cool. So the big takeaway. Oh, go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, last year I felt it was a very nice venue. I know I was there vending, and the hotel took really good care of me. I know they took really good care of the folks at UVS Games hosting the event. So, and yeah, the chat mentions the giant chess set they have outside. So as long as Orlando weather cooperates, I think this is going to be a really nice place for the event.
I wasn't there last year, so I'm looking forward to seeing it this year.
It's going to be dope.
And
it's going to be awesome.
Minor future spoiler, I'm excited to not see it for Worlds next year.
Ooh. We're changing instantly. I'm in. I'm taking
Rochester,
notes.
New York for Worlds next year. Yes, please.
Yeah, I've heard nobody wants to go there. That's just what I've been told. I don't know.
I mean, garbage plates for everybody.
Hey, you know what? That's fair. I have seen a picture of a garbage plate, and it looks delicious.
It's delightful.
One of my bucket list items is to get up to Rochester, because I've been playing this game for a long time now, and every time that there has been a Rochester event, I have just either not had the funds or the time, or there's been a work thing, or something has happened that every time you guys schedule a Rochester event, I just can't quite make it. It is so. Hey, forcing Nationals or Worlds to be in Rochester, I'm in, because it forces me to go. I can't miss that. That's crazy.
I mean, Rochester probably would not be a great place. We are not an easy airport to get into. We have a real airport, but it's transfers and transfers and transfers to get in. So it's a pipe dream, but
and if I can't fly direct, I'm not going.
Fair.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
That's why I drive everywhere. If I can't fly direct,
Fair.
I'm driving.
Fair.
Well, you also have a huge store that you bring with you. That's a lot of carry on if you want to bring the whole Rochester
Southwest
store.
gives me 2 free check bags.
That's a big
That's how we used to go to Nationals. Is Kevin, my spouse Christine, and I, we would check 2 bags. One of the bag would have all 3 of our clothes, and then we'd have the rest of the 5 bags would just be product for the event.
That is
We've
awesome.
grown a little
Cards
bit.
are heavy.
We've grown a little bit since then. We're a little more professional operation now.
That's funny. Speaking of professional operations, Sean, what can you tell me about the Worlds Festival? Friday, we've got the LCQ. We've got a ton of side events, but we don't actually know very much. What can you tell me about? Obviously, there's not much we can say about the LCQ until we have final numbers, which Josh can give us. At the same time, he's going to be giving the World's pricing, right? It's going to be, I'm sure, the same message, how many spots and all that jazz. But what can you tell me about what is planned for the festival?
Well, the first thing I could tell folks about the World's Festival is the LCQ is hard capped at 128 players. And, depending on how the invites shake out, depending on who can make it, who's got a work conflict, who's got a travel conflict, there could be a significant number of world slots available. Now, I'm not guaranteeing there will be. Don't put the headlights on that Sean says there'll be 30 slots, because we don't know that. You
shouldn't have said a number. Now you've said a number.
I said a ridiculous number. There's no way. But so there any spots that aren't taken are going to be given up for the LCQ, and with the event being hard capped at 128, it actually, depending on what's available, you may actually have a better chance of getting in at the LCQ, but still go to Nationals because Nationals is going to be way more fun. I got way more stuff planned for that. On Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be playing Rochester Retro and Teams. So I believe we're playing Retro on Saturday and Teams on Sunday. And, I'm going to announce something here on the stream that for Teams that we're going to try out for the first time ever in the history of UniVersus.
Okay.
We are going to allow the teammates to communicate with each other about the game state during rounds.
Yo.
But there's going to be a limit. So every round, each teammate is going to have a lifeline. And you can use your lifeline once per round to ask a question from one of your teammates about the game state. So, we're going to try to use common sense and not spend 20 minutes figuring out what you should do.
Sure.
It's going to be a quick question. So that's available once per round for each teammate. But if one of your teammates leaves the table, let's say they get salty about a match they lost and they storm off, you can't ask them for help. They're out.
They're out. That makes all sense.
You got to sit there and be stressed watching your other teammates play. I remember that's happened to a lot of my teammates because I play slow decks, and their matches will finish. And in the grand finals, my round goes for 3.5 hours, and they just get to stand there and watch me struggle.
Yeah, you did threaten to bring a recovery girl to a fun match with Bill Stark.
Right.
So yeah, Sean, we know, dude. I love that. That's very, very cool. That's very, very cool.
So that's my big reveal for tonight's stream is for the first time ever, you're going to be able to communicate with your teammates about the game state and teams. As far as other things go, I'm still working out with Josh and company pricing details as far as prize walls and whatnot for Worlds. So the Worlds Festival, so I'm not quite ready to announce that yet.
Mm-hmm.
We'll also have on-demand side events just like we're doing at Nationals. But those are the three big events: the LCQ on Friday, Rochester Retro on Saturday, Teams on Sunday. So it's going to be a fun time, and we're going to be there while everyone else is grinding and sweating and gnawing their fingernails off next door. We're going to be having a great time at the festival.
A festival, a literal celebration, a party. I do have a small question though, and the thought just hit me of what happens if there are, and I'll say the word because I'm not the TO. What happens if there are 30 people missing for the LCQ? It's very obvious what happens. There's 30 spots. My actual question is, let's pretend that the 64 people who earned their spots deserve to go. They do go. I signed up for the LCQ. What happens then? What is if there are actually no spots available, which is so unlikely, but humor me. What's the plan? Yeah. Do you guys have a plan for an event?
So we will figure it out on site. It's not going to happen. Let's be honest. But I did say that I have printed enough uncut sheets and other items. We will have spares. We will have extras because damages happen in shipping. I wanted to make sure that we had a couple extras. So in this almost impossible world where all 64 invitees actually say, you know what, I'll be there, we'll throw in some uncut sheets for those players to make it worth their while.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, incredible. I mean, that's what I wanted, right? I didn't want you to. I didn't want to show up and be like, I'm here for the LCQ. There is no LCQ. Go kick rocks. The bar by the pool is really nice. They
Cam says it's great.
It's great. Go check that out. No, that's dope. Very cool. I appreciate UVS Games taking care of us in this 0.000000001% chance of it happening. I love it.
Yep. And I should correct myself. I will never give people uncut sheets. I will give them enough prize wall tickets to go turn it in for whatever they want. So if you are one of those people that doesn't want an uncut sheet, cool. Go grab a bunch of playmats. Go grab a bunch of whatever else you want. That's one of the things that we're really focusing on with this prize wall is making sure that people can have what they want and we're not forcing them to take specific items.
Yeah, that's a glorious function of the prize wall is I have way too many playmats. I would turn all of my prize wall tickets into promos and pins and uncut sheets because I don't need any more playmats.
Do prize wall tickets roll over event to event, or do you gotta use them and lose them?
It's use them or lose them.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
so a little history on Josh. I was
Yeah.
forced to do this at my last gig, and it was the worst experience ever because
Do this
items would show
meaning
up on a prize wall
people get
to
to keep
have
their
events roll
tickets.
over or
Okay.
tickets roll over. Yeah. When tickets rolled over, somebody would show up to an event, be like, cool, I want all of that one item. And they buy them all. And then they're gone and they own the market. Right. And it's
Cool.
hard to do limits on specific items
Yeah.
because there is a world where, Tam, everybody knows your face in the community. You come up and they're like, oh, hey, you only get one of these. But, Sean shows up with his mustache and everybody's like, whoa, I've never seen this mustached man. He goes back to his hotel room, shaves that off, goes and gets another. They're like, hey, you look like that guy that had a mustache. And then he puts on a cowboy hat and now he's a different person, right? So doing that is very, very difficult. So yes, we are gonna just have the tickets survive during the event. And that's how that's going to work for the time being. There's a world where we change this rule if we come up with a way to make it function, but for the time being, that's how it is.
And not for nothing, I like to collect the prize wall tickets. Like at the end of the event, I like to have one of each throw in my binder.
That's cool. That is very cool. Any final thoughts on Worlds and slash or the Worlds Festival? Obviously, there's not a ton that we can do. I think that the big takeaway is that pricing will be announced as soon as we have the qualified players. We have those, and then like LQ slots will be announced. Pricing for the event will be announced, and there will be more pricing announced for the festival itself. Anything else we want to talk about, fellas?
I wish I could give you all more, but
you'll have to wait and see.
That. We're keeping that.
just having those hard times or hard stops of like, this is when you can expect this information is better than the ambiguous, it's in the wind, it'll happen when it happens. So like It is something for us to look forward to, which is cool. And now the moment that we've all been waiting for. I know, me personally, I have not cared at all about these. Dude, I want to talk about organized play.
Well, you know what? I don't care about being here anymore. Sean, you ready to
go? Let's bounce. I mean,
no. Organized Play 2025. I'm so excited for it. Josh, I think that you are such a. Every time that I've communicated with you, whether it be on stream like this or we met in person at Gen Con, we've had a couple talks via Discord. You've been incredible. All your ideas are awesome. I see no flaws, but Twitch chat did. So we're gonna ask a bunch. Just kidding. we're gonna ask a bunch of questions. I want you. I mean, you get to tell me as much as you can about Organized Play 2025. You've kept it very close to the chest, and it is my job to pull it out of you to get all the sneaky details so I can clip them into TikTok shorts.
That's fair. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess first and foremost, I haven't been talking a lot about it because we still have a season to finish. Yep. Or I shouldn't say season. I'm trying to change that. We have an OP cycle to finish. You'll see us referring to our OP years as cycles moving forward because they're not seasons, because there are kind of seasons within the year. And then there are kind of years that don't match February to February. So yes. So we wanted to make sure that this cycle still had focus and attention and we weren't just moving on to the next thing. Because I know those are comments that I've seen is, UVS OP, they've already forgotten about this year. They just care about next year. That's not true. We want you guys to feel like we're giving you the time that you deserve for this cycle as well. But yes, next year is one I am very excited for. We are changing quite a bit. I mean, you've all seen our initial announcement. We're going to be getting into detail about all of those events in the new year. We're going to be talking a lot about regionals, locations, and, all that fun stuff. So I don't know where you want me to start. Do you want me to start local? Do you want me to start competitive?
I think starting local and working our way up makes the most sense.
Sounds great.
Let's talk about the kitchen table players going to your LGSs. I want to know about that.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, I've only been here since March. And when it comes to making big changes like we've made, those things take time. right? Because I can't just say, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And everything's already produced for me. We already have art for all of the things that I want to do. I wish it worked that way, but it doesn't. So what I can say about the 2025 cycle is out the gate, when it comes to your local, like weekly prize support, it is going to be mostly unchanged. So you'll have the monthly prize packs that you're getting, the monthly promos. That is only for the beginning of the year, though. I'm not going to get into details because I want to save that for my own announcement.
Sure.
But we are going to be changing quite heavily what we do for players who attend the store or their locals weekly. Minor spoiler. No, this could be a major spoiler depending on who's watching and who's listening right now.
Okay.
If you pay attention to what I've done in the past, you might be able to get an idea of what weeklies will look like. And when I say in the past, I mean before coming here.
Okay.
So
right.
I'll leave it at that. I'm sure somebody is going to figure that out immediately. But yeah, so yeah, we are going to change that because you were talking about those kitchen table players.
Yeah.
I love that people play this game wherever they play this game, but I don't want them playing at their kitchen table. I want to give them a reason to show up at their local game store, and I want them to feel excited about, their community that they're building and making new friends and not just playing against the same two people that run Recovery Girl decks all the time. So
hey, we get like 14 every week here in Rochester.
When you play at home, though, you probably don't have 14 people.
Not usually.
Right. So
nobody will play against me.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah, one of the things that we're doing that we did get to kick off earlier in the year because it was easier to manage that and make that change is when it comes to our store scrambles. So store scrambles, the way that our cycle is going to look is we want players to have a tournament to play in every month is the idea, right? So in a perfect world where sets are coming out exactly when I would like for them to come out, you'll have a pre-release, and then you'll have a store scramble, and then you'll have a local championship. Month 1, month 2, month 3, and then we start the cycle over. Sure. Obviously, weeklies are happening in between there, and depending on the store, some weeklies might just be super casual, get together, hang out, just play the game, get some cool stuff for showing up. Others where, like Sean has a very competitive group up in Rochester, they're probably going to be running tournaments most of those weeks. But we want the prizing to still work out for them and give them what they want. But speaking of those 3 events that stores are going to be able to host, pre-release going to remain mostly unchanged. I think pre-releases work well the way that they are right now. Everybody gets their packs, they build their deck, and they jam some games. So standard, 4 rounds of play, best of 1 will be the standard build. But again, stores that have competitive players and want to start their event at noon can do best of 3 if they want.
Sure.
Right. So that will be event number 1 when a set releases. Event number 2 is going to be that scramble. And scrambles are going to look a little bit different. Tam, I know I pitched this to you and a bunch of the content creators a while ago, and you had some valid questions, but the idea for these is that they are designed to be new player friendly. This is where we want those kitchen table players to be like, I'm not going to win it, but it's still worth going because the prizing is there to make it worth going.
Yeah.
So what we're doing for those events specifically is we're going to provide participation cards for anybody who attends and plays in the tournament. But then there are going to be 4 winner cards. They're not champ cards, they're winner cards. And we are going to provide options for how the stores want to use them. 1 should go to the winner of the tournament, right?
Sure.
If you're running a tournament, the winner should get one of those cards. You're going to have 3 more to work with, though. Do you do one of them as a door prize? So anybody has the opportunity to get that just in a raffle?
Okay.
Do you use one of them for the person who's the best sport in your tournament? Maybe they went, totally defeated. Didn't win a game, but they still were having a good time, had a smile on their face the whole time. Maybe they deserve one of those cards, right? So again, for Sean, competitive group, maybe they just decide, top 4, they all get one. And that's just the way that group works. but we will leave that up to the stores to make sure that we're providing more opportunities than fewer opportunities for people to earn those. So
That
for
makes
those
total
stores with a newer group, yeah, maybe they do more door prizes than not.
You could like depending on how engaged your TO is, could you imagine having a mini collector's cup at each of your store's scrambles? Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
Your TO,
That would be cool.
One member of imagine somebody random, a different card game player. Your TO invites them. Hey, do you want to be the commissioner for this week's store scramble? It's like, yeah, man, I only play Lorcana. Whichever one has the most odd numbered difficulty cost, that gets an extra point or whatever.
Right.
I think giving stores, TOs more opportunities to give back to the community is way better than, hey, please show up, here's your packs, you can leave. It is. I tell people all the time that the number one way to make people fall in love with UniVersus, as amazing as the gameplay is, as amazing as the art is, the cards is, it is truly get them to a major. If you can have somebody travel to a regional, they will fall in love with the game. They will. We have had people come in, they've dropped out because of life. They always come back because of how good the game is. If we can make that trickle down into more local level play by getting that regional feeling in the stores itself, people are going to stay and truly fall in love with the game. And if they fall in love with the game at the local level, of course they're going to go to the regionals. It's easy.
Right. I mean, that's the goal, right? It's not for everyone, but if they at least give it a shot, yeah, that's just a bigger community of people to hang out with that enjoy the same thing you enjoy.
Yeah, I really like the idea of the 4 winner cards, because it gives us an opportunity here in our more competitive play group to instead say, well, we're going to give a winner card to our newest player. Because one of the tough things about coming to Fridays here in Rochester is, and I tell all of our new players, you're going to get your butt kicked for a while, but if you can get your butt kicked and get cool cards,
right. Yeah, and that's what this does. It allows people to work what's best for their community.
I love it. And then you said the third type was the local championship, right?
Yep.
Which is going to get you points in order to get you to the invites to day 2 at Worlds.
Day 1 and day 2 at Worlds.
Day 1 and day 2 at Worlds, correct. What is, besides the point system, and obviously UVS has introduced a new ELO system, which I've gotten a ton of questions about, which they happened today, so they're not on your docket. My question is besides points, do you have plans for physical prizes for local championships like you currently do?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. So we're upgrading the prizing a bit next year. Right now it's winner gets a playmat, right? Next year we're going to have prizing for the top players. I'm not going to give you an exact number right now, but there will be promo cards for the top players, and then there will still be that playmat at the top tier. So just giving more, and in my opinion, making the points a greater value now that it's going to be easier to get to Worlds based on points. So
love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Man, I'm so, I know you're not going to be able to share any of this today, but I'm so interested in knowing what the points breakdowns for those days are going to be, because it's such a carrot for players that are competitive to be like, okay, I gotta figure it out. I was talking to Chris Smith. He drove 2.5-3 hours to come to my local qualifier, and I shut him out. He didn't get second. Take that, Chris. But he was like, doing all this math of like, hey, if I know that if this person doesn't go and this person does go, and it's such a neat lever to as a motivator for people to go and play events if they want to. I think it's so neat for I'm just excited for the point system to lay out. It's very cool.
Yeah, I love the point systems because it allows for life, but still lets you enjoy the thing you enjoy.
Yeah. Right?
Because like maybe I don't need a day 2 invite, and I'm having a kid partway through the year. I'm not, by the way. This is an example.
Congratulations! Hey, claps and checks.
You heard it here first, everybody.
This is the big announcement.
Let's say that's the case for somebody, though, right? They can grind out events early in the year. They don't need to get to that second threshold for the day 2 invite to still be able to go.
Correct.
Right?
Love it.
So as long as they're doing well enough and play in enough, I mean, honestly, you can get there just from locals. If you got a big enough local scene and you're a good player, you can get to Worlds just from locals. You're probably never going to make day 2 at Worlds just from locals, but you'll be able to get there.
I mean, that says a lot. That says a lot about how open and lenient it is for getting into Worlds. I had a question. This comes from user TamCardwell. In the 2024 survey, it asked about league style / multiple week style play. I was confused on that point of like, what is that? What do you mean when you say league style? I imagine like everybody gets a bonus pack and like makes their deck out of what they found in the trash and blah, blah, blah. Well, is that what you were thinking to help me clarify? What were
there are a lot of options for this. The thing that I have enjoyed the most personally is something like that, an escalation type league.
Sure.
Where everybody starts off with X number of packs, they slap together their deck, and then each week they'll get a couple more packs and then show up weekly to play with all of those new cards that you've been adding and swapping out throughout the league season, if you will.
Love it.
Oh, those types of things are so fun. We used to do that with our drafts or our sealed events where you get your 6 packs, but every round you get a bonus pack. So by the time you got to round 3, you actually had like a 9-pack sealed deck instead of a 6-pack sealed. It was expensive, but it was fun.
Yeah. But doing something like that throughout like a weekly OP cycle helps get players to keep coming back to stores, because that's what I want more than anything. I want people getting together at stores because that keeps people excited to play the game. And it helps them. Like, I used to run leagues for another game back in the day, and that group of people, that was like almost a second family to me, right? And that's what we want to create here, is give people an opportunity and a reason to keep showing up so that they can get close with their local communities.
Incredible. You answered that. Judge rewards for local play. We used to have judge rewards for specific judge promos that I think we were like flooded with mechanically unique promos, and everybody complained and it was awful. You guys switched to non-mechanically unique. Whatever. We got the regular. We got the victory. Any love for the TOs and judges hosting these local events? Thoughts?
There will be. I can't really get into details about it, but
that was a yes.
What I will say is one of the things that I have been pushing for, but didn't have to push that hard for. Everybody internally agreed with it. It just, again, like everything else, takes time, has been a judge program. So stay tuned.
Perfect. It'll be all on that same announcement day of how many slots and
my gosh, no.
It'll be all that one day. It'll be a message this long. It's gonna be dope. Everybody at home, wait for it. I'm sure.
They'll have to get Nitro on Discord just to announce all the cool stuff.
Right?
Yeah. Your image is too big, my guy. You know where we most need judges?
Where's that?
Regionals.
Regionals
and Worlds. You gave a bit of a small idea. You have officially axed Nationals. Whoever is this upcoming national champion for all 3 of our regions will be the lifelong reigning undisputed national champion. Just like someone in this call handsomely is the undisputed webcam regional winner. I'm just saying. What can you tell me more about? I mean, it's been what, 2 months? 1.5, 2, almost 3 months since your initial announcement.
Yeah.
Where are we in the announcements for regionals? What more can you drip feed me?
Yeah. Again, wanted to focus on this year, but this year is mostly wrapped up, right?
Yep.
We've got Worlds invites to send out, but that's only a small group of people. So that will all be coming very soon as well. But what I can tell you is, first and foremost, minor correction. This year's national champions will not be the lifetime national champions. We're getting rid of nationals for next year, not necessarily forever. Right? So one of the big things that I was pushing for is perfecting where we can first and then growing from there. So for this coming year, we want to focus on regionals. We want to have regionals be amazing. We want people to be excited at every tournament that they go to, but not feel that it is just that. It's not just a tournament. I don't want it to just be a tournament. I want you to go there because it's an experience. I want people's significant others to want to show up because maybe we've got their favorite cosplayer on site and they're going to be, you know, engaging with the community doing a cosplay contest. Maybe we'll have voice actors on site, and these are all maybes, but these are things that we want to do to create more exciting events. So for next year, the focus is regionals. That's why nationals have been nixed, because we want to really hone in what a regional experience is going to be. And what that means is Sean and I are going to be talking throughout the year, and I'm going to be like, hey, first regional was really cool, but we've gotten this feedback. We want to make this adjustment for the next regional that you run, right? And really get it by the end of the year to be the perfect experience. Okay. What I really hope is that the first one we run is the perfect experience, and then we just keep doing it. And then we slap nationals back on for next cycle, and we're good to go, right?
Perfect. Yeah.
So yeah, they will be the 2-year national.
The 2-year national. I love
guaranteed.
It.
Guaranteed.
Easy. I love that, man. I think one of my favorite quotes as a martial arts instructor was you can pay attention to a lot of things, but you can only focus on one thing. There's a difference between paying attention and focusing, and it really feels like over the past couple OP cycles that you guys have been paying attention to a lot of different, spinning plates, and it really feels like this upcoming year you guys are focusing on what is really important in order to make the organized play cycle the best that it can be. I, as a player, as somebody who wants to spend a lot of money on product and a lot of money on plane tickets and a lot of money on experiences, I am so happy that you guys are willing to upgrade the experience side of what it means to be a card game player. It is so truly, from me, at least me, I don't know about the other 70 people in chat, thank you. Thank you for upgrading the experience of this. I am very excited for it.
I'm glad you're excited. I am too. But yeah, so now that nationals is kind of out of the way, let's talk a little bit more about regionals.
Please.
So this coming year, and this will be announced with beautiful image and in more detail later. I'm going to give you a very general outline of what it's going to look like.
Please.
We are going to have 10 regional championships. They are going to be starting in March and run through December. And if anybody, is better at math than I am, you don't have to be good at math for this. Mm-hmm. That leaves us a couple months before Worlds. So we won't run into the thing that we were running into this year with invites being given out 3 weeks before the event happens, right?
Yes.
So this way it will give us that 2-month window to make sure that all champion point earning events are done, and everybody who should have their invite will have their invite. If there are any discrepancies, we've got time to figure it out.
100%.
It's not going to be a whirlwind of trying to gather information and communicate with people and give you 2 weeks to plan a trip that might be halfway across the world, right? Depending on what region you're in. So this gives everybody time. Make sure you get your points. Make sure you get to the event. And we'll be able to do some fun casual events at store level there, but we're not going to do any champion point earning events that will count for that cycle.
Makes sense. No, that makes total sense.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll count for the next.
Yeah. Yep. That makes total sense.
Get that little boost for the next cycle. So yeah, with those 10 events, the first one is going to be in the US, and we do have another person in this live stream here who's running that event. And
you drop this on me? I'm not prepared. I'm not ready to run the tournament.
I think we know where that event is going to take place. We're not going to give exact details, but I think we know what city it's going to be in to give people a little head start.
We sure do. I guess we're going to be announcing this live. So
not all the details.
I am really, really excited to say that in March, UniVersus is going to the Rocky Mountains. We're heading to Denver, Colorado.
Easy. Nice. March, Denver. Okay.
Yep. So again, we're gonna have a bigger announcement with more events and more locations. That announcement and that graphic will be adjusting through the year, right? There will be some that are still TBA because again, this is a whole new cycle. We're working with some new TOs, and there are some growing pains with that, but we're going to get everything announced as soon as possible, making sure that everything is announced well enough in advance that people can plan travel and not be hit with events that are announced too late and then nobody shows up. But what I will also add to that is we are changing the number of events, which I know we mentioned in the article, but the number of events per region, because having 3 regionals in the US and 3 regionals in Oceania, the numbers just don't balance out.
That makes sense.
Right?
Yep.
So for this coming cycle, for 2025, we are going to have 5 US regionals,
Okay.
1 Canadian regional,
Ooh.
1 Oceania regional, and 3 in the UK/Europe. So 3 in the European region. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. And when it comes to pricing, because we don't want to create a situation where we have a set of prizes just in Oceania that nobody else in the world can earn, and now those cards are worth a whole lot more and are
Right.
much more limited. We have tried to balance it out as best we can so that there will be a US event paired with another region's event, and those events will have the same prize pool.
Okay.
So, yeah, so there will be 2 regionals on average, 2 regionals with 1 set of prizes.
Okay.
So, spreading that love globally.
Love it. Absolutely love it. I'm gonna
I'm
pretend
so
you're not
hyped
here
for-
for a second. I have some people in the chat who are saying, "Man, it stinks for the OCE. That stinks for whatever." This is a reflection of how the global, how spread out our player base is, right?
Yep.
Yep. Josh wants to put 10 regionals in every single area of the world. He wants that, and he doesn't. He
If
doesn't
the
want
players
3 areas
show
of the
up,
world.
I will do it.
Absolutely. If you're feeling bad about the amount of regionals that you get, work with your TOs and help with getting stuff better. Prove is such a lame word. Show that people are wanting to play the game, right? Give us a bunch of people playing the event, playing in the tournaments, and then obviously UVS Games actively wants you to play the game more, right? They don't want you to do it. So
Right.
get in there and play the game.
Yep. And if we do look at this from like the 2024 cycle and the 2025 cycle view, we have the same number of events in Europe. We're going to add an event in Canada, and we're going to have more events in the US, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the only region that we're running fewer events in is Oceania. And there was a lot of discussion around this. I know it feels bad that there's only 1 event, but what we're trying to do is, rather than have a third of the community go to this event and have it be 20 people, and then the next 20 in this, and then the next 20 in this, we're going to have a 60-player event.
Yeah.
Which is just going to be more competitive, more exciting for those people that really want to get that competitive play in, and give you, 1 event to go to in the year. And if you blow it out of the water, I'm giving you more events in future cycles. That's just the way that that's going to be, right? But as we announced in our previous article as well, there are going to be more people that get invites from this Oceania regional than there will be from any of the US regionals, because their point threshold is going to be a lower threshold.
Correct. Yeah, because
Right.
where you are geographically will dictate how hard it is for you how hard you have to work to get into Worlds, because
Essentially.
it's a weighted grade.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because we do want to make sure that there are still invites from these regions, even though they're getting fewer events.
Mm-hmm.
1 event is going to invite more people.
Makes sense.
So it was a bit of a balancing act. It isn't the decision I would want to make, but just based on the numbers, the decision we had to make.
It's fair. I think it's fair, and I think as every decision is a stepping stone moving forward to greatness, and even if there's 1 event, this event blows it out of the water. Like you said, there's no reason that we can't add more later down the road.
Correct.
If prize walls are successful in nationals and worlds, Is the plan to continue them, make them bigger, make them better? Where do you, if here's my shoot from the hip that you're not expecting. What's like the coolest thing that you could put on the prize wall? You asked us what's the coolest thing you put on the prize wall for us. Josh, what's the coolest thing? Same thing for you, Sean. What's the coolest thing you put on the prize wall?
For me, it's uncut sheets. I've been pushing for uncut sheets at different jobs for years, and I've never been able to do it like we've been able to do it here in a really quick turnaround. So that was the big one for me because I love those things. I think everybody loves those things. So that's mine.
Sean, how about you, man?
I mean, uncut sheets are awesome. The only other thing that comes to mind for me are giant cards, like the ones that they had. Those are cool. I mean, we've got them hanging up around my shop. We've got uncut sheets hanging up around my shop. So yeah, those are the super cool things. The other thing I like from prize walls, and we're going to see, this for, at nationals and whatnot, is I like things in my prizes to say I was there, right? I like the playmat that says, nationals 2024, because I want to be able to say I was there.
Yeah.
Especially, like champion playmats that we've had in the past, top cuts playmats. Those are one of the things I get to lay it out on the table and said, I was there and I did good. So those are my favorite types of things for the prize wall.
Nice. But yes, to answer the question, we are going to continue to do prize walls. I have a meeting tomorrow that's talking about our Q4 prize wall items.
If you want, we can live stream that. I don't mind.
Nope. Yeah, that's love you guys, but not gonna happen. But yeah, so we're already working through almost the end of next year, right? After tomorrow, the end of next year on our prize wall items. So not planning on getting rid of them ever. They're one of my favorite experiences at competitive events.
When we talk about competitive events, when we talk about we're getting into worlds, currently our system is a little wonky, where when you play at your local championship qualifier or whatever, you get points, and then you go to your regional, and then top 50 gets points, and then top 8 gets points, and then the winner gets a bunch of points and gets the invite to worlds, and then just gets it outright, and then it moves on. When we look at qualifying for worlds, day 1, day 2, have you figured out what not necessarily, obviously it's different for each region. Do you know how far down you have to be to go to one, maybe 2 events inside of, or for one event to go to day 1 at Worlds? Do you get what I'm saying? What's that minimum points threshold, if that makes sense?
So if you are attending a regional in the US, because that's the highest threshold. So in the other regions, more people will get in than this, but I'm going to use the US as my example now.
Sure.
If you are top 8 in a regional, you have a day 1 invite, period.
Cool.
If you are the winner of a regional, you get a day 2 invite.
Perfect.
And if you're a finalist, you're pretty darn close to that day 2 invite.
Okay.
So yeah. And with these all adding together, it's all cumulative, right? So you go to another regional, maybe you don't do as well. You still might get those last few points to get that invite or that day 2 invite.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah, I think go ahead.
You'll have to forgive me for being daft. I don't remember if you said this earlier, Josh. Do any of the local events get these points anymore? Or so? Oh yeah, because you can.
Local championships do. Yep, local championships will get those points as well. And I'm just going to say it. So we said it in the article. We gave an example of 50 points being a day 1 invite. That's what a day 1 invite's going to be. So when you're looking at top 8 for a regional in the US, well, a regional everywhere is going to get 50 points at top 8.
Right.
And then it's going to top 4. They're going to get more points. Finalist is going to get even more. And then the champion will be at 200. 200 is our break point for that day 2 invite.
And the reason is that you want to get the 200 points because the granddaddy prize is UVS Games helps fly you out to Worlds, right? There's like this 3
so
tiered.
That's the 3rd tier of invites.
Correct.
Yep.
Yes.
So
day 1 invites, is day 2 invites. Yeah.
Day 2, and then even if you've already got 200 points, you've won a regional, you're going to want to keep going because somebody like Tam is going to be maybe grinding more events. And he was the finalist that played against you in that, championship match for the regional. And he's going to grind more points than you, and he's going to get that paid trip, right? So
Yeah.
there's incentive to keep playing for that paid travel. But for those that don't have the ability to, or like I said, are having a kid or have something else happen in life, they can still get that invitation.
I think my last big question when it comes to regionals, and Sean, if you have any questions, obviously, I don't know if you don't know any of this or not. The goal, the focus of these are to be celebrations.
Yes.
What non-card game things are you guys floating around of, don't commit to anything, but like potential ideas of, let's make this a celebration? I know in the past we have had celebrity appearances from voice actors. We've had card slinging. You mentioned cosplay already. One of my favorite things that other card games do is they have keynote presentations from people at the company. I've said it on stream a ton of times. I absolutely loved when I got to fly out to the Creator Summit and Bill and Zoe and everybody, they pitched me on Attack on Titan 1, and it was so I'm pretty sure that, Sean, you had the same presentation as a retailer. They pitched it to us and were like, here's how we did all the card frames, and here's the art book that we did, and all of this. How sick would it be hey, I don't want to play in the side events, I've got a headache, but I'm down to sit and listen to Bill talk about why Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is so sick. And here's the design process, because we're 6 months down the road. Here's what we thought about for TMNT, and here's our idea. Get a little how the sausage is made. Those are my ideas. Is there anything, if you had to spitball, obviously you're not confirming or agreeing to anything, what are some other cool ideas that you have that are non-card game related?
So non-card game related is interesting because most people are there to play games.
Sure.
Right. That's why most people are going to show up. So we will continue to talk internally about the things that I mentioned that you just reiterated, with cosplaying, with, signings, card slinging. We want to give some opportunities for some of these fun things. We will keep thinking about new and exciting things to do. I actually really like the idea of doing essentially a panel on site, because I know the two of you have talked to a lot of people internally, and I haven't met anyone internally that doesn't love what they do and doesn't love talking about what they do.
Yeah.
So I think that that's actually a really cool idea that we hadn't really discussed a lot internally. So thanks for that, Tam. I'll give you credit when we do our first one.
Hell yeah.
But they're
one of these panels. He'll talk about everything forever. He's so excited about UniVersus.
He certainly is.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the big ones that we've thought about now. Again, we're at a starting point, right? We're going to have our first regional, and we're going to build and build until we perfect it. So that's all I will say for the time being.
Sure. There are other opportunities on the horizon. You are not closed down to ideas.
No, absolutely not.
I think, this is me shooting from the hip. I think the next survey that you do, you should put this question in. I know we just finished with the fall survey. Hey, what non-card game stuff would you want at a regional?
The survey was too long. They had to take out some of my questions.
Make it longer.
One thing I'm really excited, going into 2025, with these, additional regionals on the docket, in the US and Canada and whatnot, is one thing I have to imagine, and Josh, you can correct me if I'm out of left field here, is as the size of the regional scales up, the scale of the cool things we can do goes up, usually proportionally to each other, right?
Absolutely. Right. Because everything that we add is a cost to us. And I have to, get people to approve that. I want to do all the fun things all the time, but I don't control all of the budget. I'm going to pretend I control some of it right now, which I don't, let's be honest. But yeah, if we're getting more people to show up and more engagement, then we get to do more fun and exciting things, because even if it's just a panel, that's still flying somebody out who wouldn't normally be there. And that's going to be a cost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They got to spend half a workday making a PowerPoint presentation or whatever, figuring out their note cards. Sean, any more thoughts on Worlds Nationals that you can ask Josh?
I'm sorry, say again.
Any final overall ideas on Worlds, regionals and Worlds that you could ask Josh? I've got two more big general organized play questions, and I think they're going to be big. So I want to give you a last chance.
No, I think that's it for me. I just, want folks to remember, as far as, nationals, the World's Festival and the World Championship goes, I mean, all these things fall under the same umbrella is, register as soon as possible. That helps, me and Josh, we talk several times a week about this stuff, and that helps us plan the cool things that we're going to do. So,
Yep.
When those registration links go up, slap those as quickly as possible, because the sooner I know I have 250 people coming, then I can go to Josh and say things like, hey, let's get a VA out here. Let's can we get Guile out here to talk about why he hates garbage plates? All sorts of different things that we can do to make the event better. We just got to know, in advance when these things happen, and that whether or not it makes sense for us to do it.
I bet Guile's one of those guys that wants his paper plates to have the little dividers and separators, so his corn and his green beans don't touch. That's probably his garbage plate issue. Josh, do you have anything you wanna add? Finalizing for for majors of 2025.
If I add anything else, I'm pretty sure that somebody from UVS higher ups is gonna come for me. So I've already said more than I should, so I'll leave it.
Well, then let me squeeze you for two last questions. Number one, I think this one's going to be super easy. We had 2024 was pretty rough for official webcam support. Everybody can fully agree with that, myself included. Is there any internal talks at all of potentially bringing webcam support back, even if it was for weekly events, no big prizings like the regionals or the just some amount of official webcam support?
So probably not going to love this answer, but wait for me to finish answering it.
Please.
The plan right now is not to have any official webcam events. But what I'm going to follow that up with is we have been talking about it internally because we know people enjoy it. We just I started and saw a whole lot of issues with it, which most people are aware of some of those issues, but there are a lot of other issues, like when, employees are up at 2 a.m. to close down registration and spending 2 to 3 hours in the middle of the night working this event for 40 people. It's not what I would want it to be to continue doing it. So I guess we'll say it's kind of like nationals right now.
Sure.
Show me that it's worth time and energy for me and the team, and we'll put some more thought into it. But that being said, what we have been talking about internally is supporting unofficial webcam events. So I know you're running something right now, or have been running something, and we want to make sure that you feel supported in doing that.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about how we can better support you, or even our local game stores, if locals want to run webcam events.
Okay.
Because some areas, I mean, if I'm a little game store in Bismarck, North Dakota, I think there are more cows than humans in Bismarck, right? So it's hard to get everybody from a large area to show up. So finding ways to support people who are running them is my first goal. And then see if it's worth doing any official events, if the juice is worth the squeeze, if you will.
I think that is completely fair. I had to ask. I know that I love webcam events. I think playing in the comfort of my own home is very awesome. It is why I host a webcam Wednesday every single Wednesday, sponsored by Rochester CCG. I am a fan of webcam events and understand that there are bad actors in it, and you have way more skin in the game if something goes catastrophic than me, who is playing at a local level event. So I fully get it. I was just crossing my fingers and hoping that there was hey, there's something cool in the pipeline. And the answer is, it's not a closed door, but it's not a locked door, but it is certainly closed for now.
Yep. I mean, one thing I do want to jump in and say, Tam, if you don't mind,
please,
is when it comes to webcams, I have to imagine it's another case of, if we build it, they will come, right? If UVS Games sees that the Webcam Weekly, for example, is pulling in 55 players a week, it becomes a lot harder for UVS Games to ignore
Yeah.
the demand for webcam. So, if you're in this chat right now and you miss webcam play, the first thing to do I think I can't speak for Josh here, but the first thing to do to help move the needle on that is to show up to the unofficial webcam stuff that's already happening.
Agreed.
Yep.
And there's a ton of community stuff, not just what I'm hosting, but we just got done with a big series hosted by David Toom, streamed on my channel. I know Sam Tate, Ace Maneuvers, is hosting something on January 4th. I mean, there are ways to play this game via webcam if you feel comfortable and you want to do so. So please, you just have to look for it a little bit. My last question when it comes to OP is, I have made the bold assumption that everything that we have talked about when it comes to hosting regionals and hosting worlds is everything has been standard format. We have a lot of different formats. We have a bunch of spotlight events that are happening at here. We've got 2025 is supposed to be the year of retro. Is there any plan for UVS Games in the official capacity to support spotlight level events, or even bring back cool ideas like, drama aside, the Wish tournament was a very cool idea that had a lot of chatter, had a lot of people moving, and it was not a regional. It wasn't.
Yep.
And so, like, if that went off without a hitch, it would have been one of the most successful events that were hosted inside of the year. It was very cool.
Yep.
There's a stain on it, but what do you have any plans for non-standard level support to other people, to other whatever for 2025?
So what I will say about that is we don't, in our official regionals and world structure.
Sure.
That doesn't mean that we're not going to be testing out some other things at maybe some other events.
Okay.
Right. The thing that we didn't really mention, which I feel bad for missing it, is all of our regionals for 2025 cycle are standalone events. So had a ton of fun at Level Up Expo last year. I will say that. Level Up was great. But it cost our players $80 because they needed the Level Up ticket and the regional ticket. So all of our regionals this coming year are going to be standalone events. So you will not have to pay another entry fee to another event to be able to play in these regionals.
Big claps. Thank you.
But that doesn't mean that we're not still going to partner with some of these events for our non-regionals events and do some testing to see what other formats people really do enjoy and come out for. Because we know, like, with Worlds being standard, I'm going to announce that right now. Worlds for 2025 is going to be standard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it makes sense for our big competitive events to run a format that you're not practicing for Worlds in.
Totally agree.
Right. Even though a new set comes out every few months, even though there are Challenger series and the format is always changing and the meta is always changing. Sorry, not the format. The meta is always changing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fully change the format on people because it just doesn't feel right to me. But that doesn't mean that we can't have fun with other formats in other means. And then maybe in a couple of years we have, and clip this if you want, I'm just saying it's an option.
Sure.
We might have a retro world championship happening right alongside a standard world championship. There's a world where that happens if we get enough interest and enough people show up to play.
This is the coolest information that I think I'm hearing, and it is making the back of my brain tingle. There's almost an opportunity here where there are like two ways to like play organized play, and we've got the standard regionals that will move into worlds and all that jazz, but we also have, I mean, how many anime expos, how many conventions, how many gen cons, how many whatevers, and I'll look right at the camera, are around the world that if you can, the players at home, show that you are going to go support an anime expo happening over in the EU, an anime expo happening over in the OCE. This is how you can get a second large event, a fourth large event in your region. If Canada doesn't want one regional, let's go have 3 or 4 major events at cons that are retro, that are teams, that are spotlight, that are whatever. That does not necessarily have to be standard, but here's a new way for us to play the game, and it matter. Man.
Yep. So just to
cool.
keep expectations realistic, I will say that these, for official events that we run,
Sure,
these will be limited to the events that UVS is attending,
Yeah.
right? So yes, there are tons of anime conventions.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, I don't get to be at all of them. I
Yeah.
think that my wife and my kids would hate it if I was at all of them. So kind of
They'd be
works out,
jealous.
I guess. Right.
They would be jealous.
Jealous, or my wife would just want to murder me for never being home to take care of the kids. One or the other. I don't know. She's not a violent person. Don't worry. I'm not worried. But yes, when it comes to running official events, we will plan to do that at all of these events, whether they're anime conventions, the Gen Cons of the worlds, things like that. But if people are running their own events and you're planning something with your local convention, I want to know about it, right? Because that is exciting. And if you're getting 40 people, 50 people to show up at an event in Tuscaloosa, I don't even know where that is. I just know it's a place. And I like it. It's a fun word. But yeah, so if you're getting a bunch of people to show up there, that means we're going to start looking at your area, right? So yeah, if you have ideas as a community, I want to hear about them, and I want to see them in action too. Because I love this stuff. This is my life.
I will leave a link. You'll have to get it for me. Leave a link to your email or the correct email to send ideas or pitches or whatever in the description of this YouTube video.
Yep.
Fellows, we have hit perfectly at an hour and a half. We did it.
Almost like we planned it.
Is there anything else to tie the ribbon on that either of you want to say about Nationals, Worlds Fest, or 2025 OP?
Just know that I am more excited than all of you are when it comes to this. Like, I know you're excited. I mean, Tam, you and I have talked to me, or you and I have talked about your level of excitement. I'm more excited, and I'm just looking forward to the top of next year when we start talking a lot more about what the next cycle is going to look like and giving you all more and more information.
Incredible.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm really looking forward to seeing my UniVersus family. I get to see them 3 months in a row next year. I'm very excited. January, February, and now announced March. But I think the big takeaway from tonight, and I've said it once and I want to say it again, is when it comes to organized play and growing the community, if people come, they will build it. I've talked to Josh a lot this year, and if people show up and people want to play, he's going to make things happen. So please, if you are in a region, worldwide or here in the States or in Canada, and you didn't feel you got the love you needed this year, get people together, start having events. Because, as a store owner, and I want to go out and run my own unofficial events, I want to give away a whole bunch of my money, but I need people to show up. So, if they come, I'll build it. I'm sure Josh will build it. So I'm really looking forward to 2025, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. And book your hotel room for Nationals, please.
You got to save the money. It's a perfect Christmas present. With that, you guys, I guess my last plug is if you enjoyed this broadcast and you want to see more of it here on the channel, please like, share, subscribe, do all the cool YouTube stuff. Let UVS Games know that as much as I like having these conversations with Josh, I would love to have these kind of conversations with any and every UVS Games employee. But I got to have numbers so I can send it over to the people in charge. Please rewatch, repost, do all the cool YouTube stuff. And thank you everybody who sent in questions to make your voices heard. I don't think this conversation would have been nearly as awesome if you all didn't help and support that. So with that said, you guys, thank you much for watching this video, and as always, I wish you well.